John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another broadhead by Zeus. Zeus was recently reacquired from the original owner by a new company, Kills Products, and they're coming out with some new stuff as well as keeping up with some of the older things that they used to do. And the Zeus Ares is one of those. It's a more traditional fixed blade model than most of their broadheads. They're also fixed blade, but this is a little more traditionally based, but it's got some really cool upsides to it. It looks pretty tough. And I've been impressed with the testing I've done with Zeus over the years that I reached out to them with the new owner and asked if they would give me a discount code, and they did. So if you use Lusk10, Lusk10 on any Zeus product when ordering from their website, it's like Kills Products is their website, or you could just type in ZeusBroadheads.com. If you go there and use Lusk10, you could save 10% of any of the broadheads that they have. And hey, they're not that expensive anyway, but that certainly helps to get that 10% off. So really eager to put this to the test, and I'm going to be doing that with my 2026 broadhead test process. So for a detailed description of that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2026 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll explain all the different tests I do. Many of them are different from previous years, so please watch the video so you can be in sync with what we're doing now in this new year. And for all the vertical bow shooting, I'm using my Elite Eon Compound bow, which I'm loving. And for the crossbow shooting, I'm using my Ravin LR, which I'm also really loving. And then I'm using Bishop Archery arrows for most of the shooting. Okay, let's zoom on in here. Check out this Ares. Go through some of the design features and specifications, and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at the Zeus Ares broadhead. I've been wanting to test this head for a while, and glad I'm finally getting around to testing it. Zeus was recently acquired by Kills Products, K-I-L-L-Z, and you can find their website at KillsHunt.com. Now, it's important to know that this is not ZeusArchery.com. There's some seller on Amazon that started using that, and it can be misleading. It's ZeusBroadheads.com is their website. You can look them up. But this is their Ares, their fixed blade version of the Zeus broadhead, if you will. Let's start with the materials. First of all, the ferrule is a 70-75 aluminum, which, as I always say, if you're going to use aluminum to save weight over steel, 70-75 is a good choice because it's stronger than some steels. The blades are 420 stainless steel, and the tip is a hardened steel tip as well. Now, the dimensions are listed as 1.25 inches this way and 7/8 of an inch this way, but by my measurements, this came in at 1.12 inches this way and 1 inch that way. So a total cut of 2.12 inches. Okay, a little different than what it says on the website. The blades are single bevel. You notice there, they're right single bevel. And the thickness of the blades is 0.035 inches. Now, one thing that's neat is you can just change the tip, this tip right here, and make it go from 100 to 125 grains. This is the 100 grain. So I like that modularity. You change a tip, you add a little bit more weight, you can increase your FOC and maybe increase your momentum just a little bit. I don't know if it'll really be noticeable, but it can help you out if you're looking for 125 grains. You can make that transition really easily. And the price comes out to $16.67 per head on their website. And you can use my discount code LUSK10 to save 10% on that. I really look forward to putting this Zeus Ares to the test and seeing how it performs. With my Elite Eon Compound bow, it just clipped the 10 ring. And with the Ravin at 450 feet per second, it got the 10 ring. It took 207 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.93 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated 8 1/4 inches. I know it doesn't look like that the way the lens lines up with the block, but it's 8 1/4 inches. And that equates to a 9.17 on a 10-point scale. It took an additional 34 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.32 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 60 layers, which is an 8.57 on a 10-point scale. It rotated 90 degrees at 11.5 inches. Wow, that's a lot more than I expected. It's in pristine condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. And here it is after the 2 shots through the steel plate. Structurally, overall, the ferrule, the tip, and the main blades held together quite well. A little bit of edge chatter on the main blades, but it lost those bleeders on the first shot. And you can see that hole on the right. It cut through the steel, but then the blades broke off at that shot after it went through the steel, or as it was going through the steel. And then you can see the hole to the left is the hole without those bleeders. Here's the Ares after all the durability testing. Through the MDF, it held up perfectly well, the 3 shots there. Then through the steel plate, it lost its 2 bleeders on the steel plate on the first shot into the steel plate. Got a little bit of edge chatter here on the main blades. Everything else held up well through 2 shots in the steel plate. Let me screw this in a little bit. And then into the cinder block, you can see it got a bend to it just because that aluminum ferrule and that hard impact. But it held together very well. The tip stayed together really well. So what'd you think? Man, it really impressed me, okay? I didn't know much about this Broadhead. I've used their other models that are more kind of like in line with what Zeus has done with that internal spring mechanism, but never really got around to testing these. But man, I'm glad I did. They just performed really well. There wasn't like a huge flat side. I mean, they weren't like spectacular in every area, but they were really strong in every area and held together well. Good flight, good durability, sharpness, penetration. But you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most and see if this might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for the cumulative score as well as the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer. Like for Zeus, Lusk 10 will save you 10% on any Zeus Broadheads, but there's many others on that list as well just to help you save some money. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.